Oh, I find that's great.
4G,
okay.
We're fine. Okay, we're trying again.
Good morning, ladies. I'm starting over for those of you who have watched before. I'm going to start the intro. I have the delight of Alice Hart-Davis in my bathroom, who is a renowned beauty journalist for 20 years, and she's written about many things, but her obsession, your obsession, is beauty.
Is beauty, and beauty. Latterly my fixation has become these Tweakments.
Tweakments. So Alice has brought out a book which I'm going to really, really thrust at you ladies. What I love about this book, there are two things. Self-published, which I think is the way to go, because it's like you're totally in control. It's like it's the equivalent of a writer on the internet.
But it's also,
on Instagram.
Thank you. It's also publishers here kept saying, I'm not really sure if people are into that. And you think, I know they are. You know they are.
We know they are.
Interest. You ladies are interested.
So I did ask you to leave questions yesterday, and there are a lot of questions, and we will try and get through all of them. But just talking about if you've considered, do I want to do more than a cream? And many of you ask me, what more can I do? What is this? What is that? And many of the things I know because I've done, but a few of them I don't. And Alice is really the expert of just having met so many doctors and interviewed so many people. And I kind of love your kudos, not kudos, gravitas, wrong word. It's something as a proper journalist, as opposed to a blogger who's just going to, not have that kind of really immersed research. And I think it's all about really researching correctly things not just 2 years into it.
They are like medical procedures at root. I mean, they're cosmetic procedures.
Talk to our ladies.
Cosmetic medical procedures. So remember that. So if you are thinking this might be something you might go and do at a party, never do that, never go to anything resembling a Botox party or whatever, those things should not be allowed. These things should be done in a clinical setting by an appropriately qualified person, but we can get boring about that later.
Yeah,
we
will.
Your questions,
yes,
Sarah?
There's going to be lots and lots of questions. Can you all hear us now? Is that all right, Chloe? Fantastic. Okay.
Brilliant.
So,
onwards.
Just history of it, because giving our experience very briefly. You started at what age? How old are you now, Alice?
I'm 56.
Okay, so we're similar age. I'm 6 months less than you, perhaps,
And
looks
I started...
Really?
Bit of help. Nice light as well.
I know, this is like, I tried to replicate it. It's very difficult.
I started writing about beauty, and these things were all just coming through, and I was working on the Evening Standard, where they're all it's got to be the latest thing, what are people doing, and my bosses started saying, these doctors are doing this stuff, you've got to find out what are these toxins, what are the dermatologists up to, and then fillers started creeping in, and quite soon, because I was that age, I thought, would it be so bad to try it? But I remember being so scared the first time I went to try Botox, because it was this poison, nobody would really talk about it, it was all very under the radar, and people would judge very harshly for doing it if they admitted it. And because the papers, particularly, they love bad news stories, so it would be, the story was idiot, vain women having deadly poison injected in their faces.
Yeah, that was the story for those,
in the hopeless quest of staving off the aging process. Why would you? And I would get letters the whole time whenever I wrote about it from the people who make Botox saying, actually, this stuff is very well proven, it's a prescription drug, it's been used in eye treatments for years, it's been used in spasms for cerebral palsy, for spasticity, for decades, in much bigger doses than it's used in cosmetically. But anyway, once a bad news story is a bad news story, it's very hard to say, bad news story, not so bad after all. But so I went along the first time and was sort of completely in denial about it. I mean, I don't know how you find, I had filler first before I had Botox. I had filler down here in a bit that nobody injects anymore, because these nose to mouth lines, if you fill them up, the face can start looking quite froggy quite quickly. But back then, this was like 2001, 2002. The idea was if there was a line, you would either soften it with toxin, relax it, or you fill it up with filler.
Okay.
And it's only in 5 years after that people started looking at volumizing the face to replace lost volume in the cheeks and the lips and the temples. You never think of it, but the temples go all hollow with age. And then more recently still, it's all about creating structure in the face. So injecting the points of the jaw, the chin. If you inject these sort of cheek points, it draws everything back. So you get this kind of 3-point effect.
It's all the things, ladies, that how many of you could deny that you've gone to the mirror and you've gone,
We all do that.
Let
don't
me
we? 'Cause
consider.
We have a question.
Let me consider that. Yes.
Yeah.
Will Botox get rid of minimal weight loss on forehead at age 52, or is it too late to have the wrinkle?
I think it's
Weight
a really
loss.
interesting one. Chloe, speak a little.
Louder.
No, just
No,
so you
was
can,
it
Alex can understand
Botox,
you.
wrinkles from weight loss?
It's wrinkles from weight loss?
Yeah.
The
So you're
wrinkles-
saying wrinkles from weight loss?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually the wrinkles on the forehead are because of dynamic movement, so that's expression lines.
Yeah.
And what Botox can do is soften the action of the muscles, so you don't move the muscles, so you don't create the lines. It's not going to get rid of any loose skin that's there, but it will stop you making the movements that's forcing
this
the
is
skin
a
into
point
lines.
that's really important, because when I did Botox, I was 35 and I did it because I've said this on this.
Doctor. Yeah.
With Dr. Seabag, lovely French doctor, who's so rude and I love him. He's not actually very rude, but he was such a rude Frenchman because he wouldn't speak
he knows
English.
what he wants to do.
He wouldn't speak English with anyone, and so I was doing TV, and when I was on TV, my forehead moved so much because I have quite a deep forehead, and I was like so self-conscious, so I would kind of change my hair, do things, and then somebody said to me, Botox will stop your forehead moving. So that's why I first had it.
Yes.
And because I first had it, before I got lines, I haven't actually got lines on my forehead. And I think that if our biggest question I'm asked, Alice, is that is it too late to start Botox if I'm 40 or 50?
No,
and
goodness no.
I think
it just softens.
It softens.
I do have lines on my forehead, and I like to not get rid of all of them because I like to be able to raise my eyebrows a bit. But what I do get is a sort of pleat of a frown, not the 11s between here, and I like that softened. So I can't actually bring my eyebrows together just now, but I can lift up and down. And yeah, I keep being told if I had started it earlier, those lines wouldn't have got settled in. But I slightly object to you don't want to demonise these lines. Emotion is a normal thing. We need to be able to move our faces to express ourselves. So yeah, a lot of the doctors now do say if you start a bit earlier, more like 35, then the lines won't settle in, and then so there is an argument for doing that. But I then think you slightly get a bit paranoid about getting any lines in the first place. So it's slightly different if you're on TV because then you're under such scrutiny.
We're going to take some questions now. I'm just going to take questions not from you yet, Chloe, but just from. Sorry, Alice, I'm getting my glasses that I realise I didn't bring with me. Do you need glasses?
No, I can.
Great. So I'm going to get the questions up, and then we're going to take some questions.
That is a very, very high.
I'll tell you. I'm drinking Vivian Talsmat Platinum Blend, unbelievably high collagen powder with an avocado and some almond milk. Okay, question number 1, Booth Cockapoo, is Trinny, steroid eye drops have suddenly given me crepey under eyes. Help. What's good as a tweakment for crepey under eyes? Booth Cockapoo is asking.
That's difficult because if it's the steroid that's driving it, that's really difficult to counteract. I mean, a good eye cream.
Oh God, I can't believe you said that.
What?
No,
you don't like?
No, I don't like eye creams.
I don't like eye creams either, but I'll tell you for why. Which is nice eye surgeon I was talking about a new one she's got from a brand called IS Clinical, which is amazing, and it almost has persuaded me. I don't actually.
I might have it here. I love IS Clinical.
Really?
It's great.
But she said that got results. In terms of treatments, you want something that's going to tighten up the skin, and maybe there's a treatment called Profiler, which I know lots of people are asking about.
Let's talk. We can talk about Profiler because lots of you say what you think it's like.
Before we get to that, in terms of tightening the skin, there is a laser tightening thing called, it's not laser, sorry, it's a heat tightening thing called Tixel, which uses heat to cause a controlled burn in the skin, which sounds really drastic. It's not that bad if it's done carefully, and that makes the skin shrink. And
so the lady with the forehead who's had weight loss on her forehead, would that be a good thing for her?
Laser, Tixel, radio frequency, all of that, and some of them can be used all around the eye.
Okay, great. We're going to have a lot of questions, we've got to be quite
quick. Okay.
Thoughts on facial yoga? I love, I do a lot of, and I tell you ladies a lot of, my interpretation of facial yoga, which is A, E, I, O, U's, and then doing things like holding 3 here and going like this. And I do this, and then
You wrap your lower lip over the top.
Well, I do 5 of them. Wrap the lower lip
over the top lip, the teeth. Stick your tongue forward and then push, so it pulls in the platysma, which is this bit under here. Same thing.
That's the muscle that holds up your whole face that plastic surgeons use to pull up your face. The other ones are, I do this one a lot, which I do like 30 times a day, and that helps keep my eye up. But I have tried something else. So I do every single day. I do them. I'm of an opinion of being a rounded person in terms that I do Botox. I have done fillers in the past. I don't do them anymore. I've done a thread or two. I've done laser. I've done PRP, which is the little injections, the vampire facial. But every single day consistently, I've done facial exercises, and I do this stuff too. And I literally probably spend 6 minutes in the morning and in the evening doing that to my skin, as well as an intense skincare routine. And I think
that's really good.
They're 50-50. I think the Tweakments have helped me. Yeah. But I think if I'd done the Tweakments without any of that regime, I would not have the skin I have today, and vice versa.
Yeah, you can't neglect skincare, and I think the same thing with facial massage and yoga. I haven't got the discipline to sit down and do it, but I absolutely would not dismiss it, because I've seen people with amazing faces who do nothing but that, like all the Eva Fraser exercises. And lovely plastic surgeon, I know, Rajiv Grover, he says entirely unscientifically, but over the years he's observed people who come to him for facelifts who do facial yoga regularly, they seem to have better skin, they seem to recover better. So, that's anecdotal. But
facial yoga to me is facial massage with movement.
Massage is so
laser
important.
for red broken veins. We've got to crack through them now. You've got to
laser,
literally give the answer.
laser,
which one?
Or IPL.
Tell me,
Lumeka or IPL, whichever, either laser or IPL, either will work.
Okay, great. Will it work long term, or do they come back?
Yeah, it will. It gets rid of them, but more will form. It's not the same one coming back, but more will form. But it's good.
And all of the answers that Alice's going to give are in her book. There's chapters.
And there's a website. There's more information on the website. And there's interactive treatment journey.
Let me just say it, just so I know you're. But I just want to say, there's so many pages of stuff here, and I just think it's brilliant. I was looking this morning: adult acne, teenage acne. If you start treatments, is it a slippery slope? Do treatments make everyone look the same? Rosacea and skin redness. What causes skin texture problems? The T-facial, skin laundry, laser and PRP facial. Botox in the forehead. Tixel, skin tightening and resurfacing, neostrata retinol peels. It's here. It's like your Encyclopedia Britannica. It's a book you wanted me to write, but with a lot more information.
Because I've tried all of these things over the years. That's the slightly alarming thing when people read it and they say, "Oh, you've done all this." But over the years, not in the past 6 months. Come on, what more questions?
All right. So, Tixel. So somebody's saying Tixel.
Yeah, right. Now, Tixel is this heat thing, saying it shrinks the skin, generates new collagen. There's a piece online in the Daily Mail. If you put in my name and Tixel and Dr. Tapan Patel, you'll see pictures. It did a really good retraction of the skin, because it can be used over the eyelids. Okay. Only thing that can be used
to get rid of that sagging
skin. Just helps a bit.
Okay, lovely. All right. 1 second. How to lift your jawline.
So many things. Exercises. Jawline, the things we lose bone as well as fat dropping in the face, and that all doesn't help.
We lose bone.
Bone is retreating from the age of about 35. So the skeleton is shrinking. We have less bone here. Well, around the mouth, it's why, an older mouth is more and the eye sockets in a young skeleton, they're nice and tight like this. In an older skeleton, they are like that.
Yes.
So you've got this hollowness, you lose bone up here, so you've got looser skin hanging over a shrunken frame, which really doesn't help. So that's why fillers can be really helpful in the jawline, because if they stuff a bit in along here, in the chin, under there, back on the cheekbone, which is losing bone as well, it can help pull the face up. It can really help restructure that jaw.
Okay, cost-wise, because a lot of people might be asking, how much are these? Because I spend £20 on an Aldi cream, or £6 on an Aldi cream, and I spend,
so it's like expensive. So it's like £1,000 or £2,000.
Okay, just so we get an idea. Some people might say, I'm going to save up. I'm not going to buy the car, and I'm going to do a few things. Women do. The women who have a boob job just have that sense that they got to a level where they know they need it, and a lot of people out of their financial comfort zone of what they spend on clothing or skincare will think, I'm going to do it, because it irritates them enough. I think it boils down to how much can you live with something, and how much would you actually feel, I know I'll feel really much better to do that.
Seeing it every day. The other thing with Jawline is Coolsculpting, which is fat freezing, which
I so don't believe in that.
It works.
I so don't believe
It's
that.
proven technology.
I know, but can I just tell you,
Yeah,
I've
go on.
seen people
Okay.
where it's lumpy. I really have to say, Alice,
Okay.
I've seen some bad results in Coolsculpting. I mean, in
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
You're going to have a good person doing it
Yes.
and a bad person doing it. And
does
in your
depend.
book, you're really careful about saying how you find the
Try
right
and say
practitioner.
what the problems are. Yeah, the practitioner is
Yeah.
of crucial importance. Yeah, because Coolsculpting sucks up a chunk of stuff and freezes it.
Yeah.
And of that frozen chunk, wherever it is, 27% up to 27% will die off over the next however long.
Yeah.
So it's not that much, but it can be enough to make a difference. But under the chin, you've got to like taper it. So you're
Yeah.
going to need more than one session. You're going to need a chunk this side, chunk that side.
I think because I've been
On the
seeing
body,
Coolsculpting on the body and I've seen
Well, if they
unevenness.
just take a bulge out of
Yeah.
bite out of the inner thigh,
Then,
yeah,
yeah.
I've got a sort of dent in my inner thigh from the first time I tried.
Yeah.
It wasn't Coolsculpting, it was a competitor.
Yeah.
But they just did it to show would it work. And even now, years later, if I'm doing like downward dog or something and I can see my thighs stretched out, there is
Yeah.
one of the.
So
yeah,
there are
no one
things
else would
that you.
notice, yeah.
It's like a battle bruise, but not.
But it,
yes. So
yeah.
it's a personal thing.
But yes.
Okay, we're going to do some questions from the floor, Chloe.
Yes.
Quick fire
So
quick
again,
fire
the
questions.
name of the book because they keep
Okay.
asking.
It's called The Tweakments Guide by Alice Hart-Davis
And it's on Amazon
on Amazon.
or on my website, which is also
On our
called
website.
The Tweakments Guide.
Yes,
So-
okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Rachel is asking, are there any devices you can use at home that give similar effect to the treatments?
Now
yeah.
you've got.
I've got a
I've just
few.
got. I've
Oh.
got this, which
Boost.
you love.
Boost LED, which we both
Yeah,
love.
we love this.
Should we talk through LED and why we think it's good? Because
Yeah,
we're both obsessed with
absolutely.
LED. So there's
This
the
is-
Lightroom mask. I've used also, I've got Dermalux Professional at home, they sent me
Okay.
one.
Oh, very
So-
good.
so
that's
I know,
that's really serious.
But I am obsessed with LED, but let's talk
They're
through.
Pretty serious. The girls behind this as well, grown-up women. Sorry, but why I love this one, and Marion Zamani's got a great one, but that's quite rigid and it's quite heavy.
Yeah, I don't like Marin's
Whereas
as much as this.
This one is flexible, so you could use it here, you could use it here. It straps on the back of your head, you can see out, so you can walk
Put it
around the
on for me,
house.
darling.
And
It's, the fact it's mobile I like. Marion
Mhm.
Zamani's is not mobile,
and this
and it's not packable.
you can tuck there, so yeah,
It's
you can
great.
go wherever. Whereas the other ones, you've got to be anchored to a plug, which is
Yeah.
a bit of a bore.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Okay,
Gonna
so
come out now.
so
So we love this, but it will work. But you need to keep using it. You need to commit to using it. I think they suggest 3 to 5 times a week
Yeah.
for like.
I do
10 minutes.
yeah, I do every day.
But
for
that's
20
not
minutes.
difficult if you can move around. It's like sort of thinking you can never read a book, and then if you find you listen to an audio.
Why is it good, Alice? Why should
Why
people
is
be
it
doing
good? Why is it
LED?
good? Because it is proven technology over the years that it regenerates your skin. It stimulates collagen growth. It's anti-inflammatory, so it brings down inflammation if you've got acne and things. People prefer to use
This
a
one
red
as well?
light rather than blue light, even because it's more healing. It will improve the hydration of your skin. It will make your skin behave in the way it ought to. Also, that's got infrared in it, which
Yeah.
goes in deeper and has a calming effect. So I quite like that. It's quite.
Yeah,
you know,
red
little
and a little
bit of
red is my
downtime.
favourite combination of LED lights.
Yeah.
And I think also if we look at other things that do they work at home,
I've
I have the Face Gym Pro.
Oh yes, that's good. That's good. This is my favourite.
Yeah,
of
so
those.
Face Gym Pro is like this, which is a new
And
face.
this is a new face, which
Yeah.
is similar. This is microcurrent. That's electrical muscle stimulation, which is technically very slightly different, but not much
from
from microcurrent. But they're doing the same thing.
They're doing the same
making
thing.
Your
if they're-
muscles
yeah,
move.
so they kind of contract your
Yeah.
muscles. You have to use them with a water-based serum or gel underneath.
Yeah.
They
Big
always
thing
want
gel.
you to buy the product with it. I'd
You
never
could
buy the
use
product with it.
Any gel.
Mm.
You could use any gel. I mean, any water-based gel.
Yeah.
But I've broken
I mean,
that
that is
by dropping
gel
it on
right.
the floor, but it still
Yeah.
works.
Okay.
But you just move it up the face, and I like it because left side of my face is a bit collapsed.
Do you sleep on that side?
No, I sleep on my back. A surgeon looked at it the other day and said, "Oh, it's a palsy." I said, "Oh, thanks." You think, "Oh, well, that would be why."
Yeah.
Because in pictures, I'm constantly having to face
Yeah.
the camera that way.
Yeah.
But if I work on it with this and get this eyebrow up a fraction,
Yeah.
that well, I should do facial yoga like you
I mean,
do.
it does do. I do love these machines, and
But
Face
you need
Gym.
to use them the
You need to use them every
whole
single
time.
day.
Yes,
Face Gym
you
Pro,
really do.
I
Yeah.
had said last week that I had run out of my charger and I'd lost it, and I'd called them up and they'd said, sorry, can't help you, and then I put it on Instagram, and then the next day they sent me around a charger. Anyway, that's life. I don't ask for much for people who I use their
Well,
things.
you're
but,
using their things. Yeah, I know, but you actually do use it. That
yeah.
one's great. It looks like a sort of an alien ant up the eyes
Yeah.
of it, doesn't it?
But I'll
Yeah.
take it with me travelling too. And I
Sure.
think if you're going this summer on a lovely holiday or on a sort of I'm going to a wedding next weekend, and I'll want to take the LED mask and that Face Gym Pro, because
Yeah.
between the two of them, I'll just feel my skin looks great, and then a phenomenal mask. And it seems a lot of money to invest, but you know, there's many times in 10 years ago I would have gone for a facial, and all she was doing is stuff that I can now do at home.
Yes,
in terms
to
of
move the
appeal.
lymph
No,
and
well,
to-
it just I can
Oh,
do
okay.
my own lymphatic, but just literally, you know, it would be
Okay,
appeal
so
and a
appeal
little
and the
exfoliation,
brightening.
and it should charge like 80 quid, 100 quid. So
Sure.
go 4 times, and you've paid nearly for one of those machines, and then
Yeah.
I'm doing more than the basic facial and a facialist. So that's
Okay.
how I look
Yeah.
at it. It's like not cost per
Yes.
wear, Alice, but it's the investment and what it brings out. Okay,
I
let's-
find that's good for sort of the reassurance. If I wake up in the morning and my face is looking puffy or it's all just fast asleep, you know, I do that and it makes me feel.
it's that reassurance.
And you should think, oh, it's all
Yeah.
going to be all right.
Yeah.
I know
Two
we
vain
should-
women
I
in
know
a
we should
bathroom.
accept
But,
ourselves.
no, but you
but-
know what it's like. It's
Oh,
all
you're under scrutiny the whole
personal.
time. You more
No,
so
but
than
every
anyone.
lady here. Every lady
Yeah.
here. It's a personal choice, and I think all we want to do is provide you with the most information for you to make the decision that you want to make.
That's
So
exactly it. Exactly
okay,
it.
Chloe, next
Another
question.
about
Very
lines
sunny.
between
Yes.
the nose and the mouth.
Lines between the nose and the mouth.
And then the mouth.
So I've done, just out of interest, because
Your
I've
peptides.
done the peptide injections at Dr. Seabag, which I have really bad lines from my nose to my mouth. And I use Miracle Blur, and I also have our product on today, which is the Miracle Blur, which really diffuses them. It's fantastic. If you don't have it yet, I can show you.
No, I've got it. I've got it.
No,
It's
I'm going to show
something
them. Sorry, but
I
it
have
just
it.
will take lines. I mean, even up here where I might have that sort of slight frown line, I'll put it there just to soften it. But I'll put that on, and it will, you know, it's my sort of fader. But I had some that were going right in my nose, right down to my mouth. And I went to see Dr. Seabag and I said, look, what can I do? And he said, there is this peptide I'm going to inject above your mouth, which he's done now twice. So he did it once, and then I waited a month, and then he did it another month. And the other thing that helped my lines over the years, because my lines were really bad about 10 years ago, because I smoked a lot, is I had my teeth done, and many women say to me, oh, you've had your lips done. But I've always, you can look at me when I was in my 20s, I always had big lips. But the other thing I did, which makes my lips much bigger, is I did composites, and they're much
staring
wider.
into your mouth like a
They're
horse.
much wider than my natural arch
so
of my
clever.
mouth. So my natural arch of my mouth would end here, my teeth, and they
And
built them out to there,
Yeah.
which pushes my lip out. And that also helps sort of stretch out. I'm not saying you should go and have composite teeth to help with your lip line. I'm just telling you what I did.
But it's
What I
also,
did.
but it's also because I work with aesthetic dentists as well, and judge awards
Yeah.
with them, and that's what they do to compensate for the bone loss that's going on in the mouth in
Is they do
middle
composite.
age, and it composite
Or
or
just,
veneers or widening that arch, because to get a better, prettier smile. Because they're all sort of aiming at that Julia Roberts. So when she smiles, she shows more teeth at something like 23 in the round than anybody else can actually physically
have
do.
in their mouth. And I think
But how amazing! I didn't know about your lips. I didn't want to ask.
No, that's fine, but that's me. And you should look at Bobby, my brother. And when you're a boy and your lips are really big, you go like whatever. But I also want to say that when I had my teeth done, she chose a colour, and at the time it was the whites of my eyes colour, but now my teeth are slightly David in Friends, and what's his name, Ross in Friends.
Oh, okay.
That I
Too
feel they're a
bright.
little bit whiter. than my eyes. So be very careful if you're doing things like that. That you might think, oh, I want my teeth really white, but always go one shade less, perhaps, than they recommend, because when you hit 50, the whites of your eyes go yellower, and you want it to balance out. That's my advice.
I never thought that through.
Yeah. Okay, next question, Chloe.
Dark circles, a lot of them also.
Dark circles.
Dark circles,
more than
okay.
an eye cream then.
So difficult, dark circles, because it's a genetic thing, it's whatever else. If it's that hollowness from sunken eyes, filler in the eye area can help.
It can be tricky.
Because it can be very tricky, and you need a real expert, and the experts who lecture on this at doctors' conferences talk about there being 6 different kinds of tear trough, and if you don't know what you're doing with them, if the practitioner doesn't know what they're doing with them, really difficult. You can get lumpy results. So it's filler, which I say with caution, because it can work beautifully, but and with eye bags, or it can not. Maybe PRP. One doctor I know, the PRP is where they take the blood from your arms, centrifuge it, you get the plasma separated off from the red blood cells, re-injected, and that under the eye area can improve circulation. It can improve the lymph flow and congestion, but often it's just really thin skin and it's the blood vessels showing through, so it's really tricky. I'm never confident in saying this one thing will solve dark circles. You know, that's why concealer is so popular. That's why we all rely on it.
I think that I did about 16 years ago a little tiny filler here. And I remember Seabag used a very, very, very fine needle, and then over the years it's just gone. And I do have that quite dark circle, but I use, and I have to reiterate, and now there won't be any here, but I did think to myself when I made my eye product, how can I combine an eye cream with an eye serum? So that's why BFFI I developed. And BFFI, I'm using the wrong shade here, but it is an eye cream and a concealer. There's a lot of nice vitamin C in it. There's a very good sense of pigment in it, but it is the only thing that works for me, actually. And I do feel that I've seen a lot of people suffer with what they think are dark circles, and what it could be is they just look in the mirror and they think I look really tired, but it's also about how you do your makeup, because a lot of dark circles are actually up here. It's when you have a slightly deeper nose and you get this real darkness here, and that sort of reflects when you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, oh my god, I look really tired. And so it's very important to get the concealer and just put it in that area. So all of that is pale, and it's unbelievable how you'll then look in the mirror. I've done a few films on it, and you'll just think, my god, my dark circles aren't so bad.
And it stops the eyes coming in towards the nose so much, doesn't it? I remember a makeup artist saying it's like, imagine you're shining a torch in the face, and that's where you want to put the concealer. But brilliant.
Yeah, very true. Okay, next one, Chloe.
Okay, next one is Profilo. I don't know how you
Profilo. Yes, brilliant. Profilo. Okay, what? Yes, tell me, Alice, because I watched so often.
I was talking about this. It is a very runny form of hyaluronic acid gel, like a filler, but much runnier. It's like a really runny honey, and it is injected into the skin, but very superficially. So
like
it's not
mesotherapy.
Yeah, it goes into the upper layers of the skin. You only have 5 injections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On each side of the face, so it's really quick, and then it runs around under the skin. It spreads from those injection points, and it is classed as a biostimulator, which means it will regenerate the skin tissue from the inside. Having that extra hyaluronic acid in the skin, hyaluronic acid, as I'm sure your ladies know, and my guys too, it holds onto water, so it holds moisture in the skin. Having that extra moisture helps your skin to build collagen, it helps you to build elastin. These are proven things, so it actually is rebuilding your skin from the inside out. So it lasts for, I think it's 60 days in the skin. So what the protocol is with Profilo, you go and have 1 round of it, and then you go back after a month and have a 2nd round of it, and then that will last you for 6 months. And when you start seeing the results is after 5 weeks. So, they say not for 8 weeks, so it depends on your skin. When I had it in my neck, the neck skin is not older, it's drier,
it just feels drier.
It feels harder to regenerate. In the face, after 5 weeks, I found I just didn't need moisturiser.
Really?
I mean, it's amazing. And also, the older you get, your skin loses that lovely youthful radiance. So, you know, we're all trying to pile it on with glow boosters and with vitamin C and with lovely makeup, but when you see your skin looking that crepey, dull, flat, old, dry look.
Which lots of us identify with, yeah.
This is one of the few things that can help counteract that, because it can give your skin back.
And how long will it
internal
last?
glow. 6 months.
And how much does it cost?
About 900 quid for the 2 sessions. So it can be £300 or £400, depending on where you go, whereabouts your practitioner is based, for 2 sessions. But some people like to just get their patients in every 3 months and keep topping it up, because it works with every other treatment. It will work with lasers, it will work with toxins.
So for neck, it would help neck a lot. I might try. What I might do, ladies, is find a practitioner and try it on my neck, just to show you.
Mariam Zamani does a lovely combination thing with.
I wouldn't
okay.
Okay. I will ask.
She did with.
They're asking where they can go.
Yeah, I think that finding practitioners. How do you find a practitioner? That's a big one.
Okay, if you can get a recommendation from somebody you know and trust, that is best. As long as they're good. They need to be medically trained. They need to be competent and experienced. The really difficult thing is there is no central register of people who are allowed to do these things, which is mad, which is why there are various lists here and there. I've got one on my website which I'm building up, which is all people I know and trust or have been to.
So you've got a list of a few people
on the website.
Only in London, or
no, all around the UK.
Oh, fantastic! Go on to Alice's website, which is
thetweakmentsguide.com.
thetweakmentsguide.com. If you just joined us, let me put up the book again.
If you put in, and there's a whole search thing. It'll take you through finding a tweakment. It'll also take you through finding a practitioner. So if you put in something like Profilo and put in your postcode, it'll come up with the people who are near.
Fantastic. Okay.
But if you go to a doctor, like one who belongs to the British Cosmetic BCAM, British Cosmetic Academy,
Medical Association,
Aesthetic Medicine, British College of Aesthetic Medicine. Sorry. They are a self-selecting body of elite doctors, very well qualified.
Yeah.
If you get one of the long-term, best-known BACN nurses, British Association of Cosmetic Nurses, they are brilliant. A lot of them have been doing this for 25 years. They're as good as any doctor. A lot of the dentists who do this, people say, oh, I wouldn't go to a dentist, but dentists, they have a great knowledge of facial anatomy. Lots of dentists are now very well known as cosmetic doctors, like Sarah Tonks, like sort of all sorts of people. And then surgeons, a lot of surgeons do non-surgical stuff to complement their work.
Yeah.
But ideally you want somebody with that kind of medical expertise, because what you need to be sure is that if anything goes wrong, and things do go wrong, we're always hearing horror stories in the news, that practitioner is competent to correct the problem or advise you on it.
And I would say something like Profilo, if you're in the right pair of hands, it would be rare it could go wrong, because it's very rare. I think you're talking about a bigger procedure.
Sorry, I'm talking about
So I think
fillers. I'm talking about fillers. Which if you inject, if they're injected into a blood vessel, it can cause a blockage in the blood vessel, the tissue can die around it.
Yeah.
You get swelling and necrosis where the tissue is dying. It's
can
awful.
Be, so you've got to
and
be very
these are the
careful.
poor girls you see in the papers who've gone to practitioners who have they're not practitioners, they're normal people often. Because there's no law to stop you or I setting up in business and doing fillers.
Really
no law.
Unbelievable.
Because fillers aren't prescription medicines. And
okay.
You can
Next question. All right.
Go on. I could go on.
How often, and will it help the lines on the forehead? Is it good?
Sorry, say again.
Microneedling. So I'll talk about it too, because I do it every few days. But I did a whole film on microneedling yesterday, so you can catch it next week on the blog. I think if you're interested in microneedling, doing it at home, you start with the 0.2 needle, which is the kind of lightest needle you can get. There's many companies, the Swiss Clinic, Nanette de Gaspé, Mr. Gaspé, Beauty, Glam Pro, Clo. There's some on the internet, GloPro, which if you go onto Amazon, there's 2 or 3 quite good makes that are Chinese, but they are made of titanium, and you really must have a titanium needle. The most important things are the method by which you do microneedling. Never make tram marks on your face, always do a light feathery motion. You can watch this all on the video. And build up slowly. I would never, ever, ever myself do more than a 1 needle at home. Even that, you've got to have an experience of a year or so to do microneedling, I think, because otherwise some people might go too deep. It's phenomenal for the body as well. It's good if you've got stretch marks, if you've got saggy knees. If you just have spent all your money in one product, if you kind of strip back your moisturiser, your cleanser, but you've got a really good active vitamin C or a fantastic retinol product, then to microneedle before, it just creates a channel for that product to penetrate deeper. And it's also, I do it on my hands. So I do my hands, my knees, my décolleté, my neck and my face. And I probably do it twice a week. Yeah, I do. And I do a 0.5 once a week and a 0.3 once a week. And then I might do a 1 on my body. But I do find it's a fantastic treatment. I really do.
Yeah, I'm very wary about home microneedling. I was keen on it, and you look absolutely brilliant advert for it, I have to say. But I've been talking to dermatologists who say they see so much of people who do too much of it at home, and it's like their skin ends up like a CD with scratches all over it. And maybe they've used it too much and pressed too hard.
Well, I think it's the feathering, which is
your
key.
hands look amazing.
Because
really
you've got
good.
to do that very light feathering and not like press it like it's just a normal dermal roller. Really, really light. And that's because otherwise you are scratching and dragging your skin.
Yeah. And the other thing is that you've got to be cautious about what you put onto your skin once you've created those holes, because an awful lot of skincare products have got like fragrance in them. They are not designed to go that deep into the skin. So if you bung any old thing on, you're very likely to get an irritation reaction. It won't if you're using a really well formulated medical grade skincare, then that is probably okay, but it's all formulated to go on top of the skin. So once you let it in deeper, you might be setting yourselves up for problems. So I've got a Glow Pro and I was loving it, but then I met 2 people last year who just said they were all in favour of proper deep microneedling in clinic.
You see, I use, and I always recommend, a clinical product. So I use Julia Hunter's peel. And hers is a kind of medical grade clinical peel, and I always put that on after. And so I go for it. But I agree with you so much about the fragrance thing, because I think that irritant, sometimes when people put on a vitamin C and they say, oh, it's tingling, is that good? It can be good, but sometimes tingles tingle on the skin because they're irritating the skin, and it's knowing the difference between the two.
And what's when people say they've got sensitive skin, I mean, I know this is meant to be Tweakments, but the number one thing is fragrance. You look at the end of the INCI list, the list of ingredients, and it'll say parfum, or it'll just say linalool or limonene. Those are the 2 most common fragrance components, and they are in 96% of personal care things. They're in washing powder, they're in everything. I didn't know this because my husband is hugely allergic to both of those 2, so I've now got magnifying glasses at every basin and watch out and say, you must use this shampoo and this body wash and do not touch any of these things because
Okay, next question.
Feet, Botox or filler?
Botox. Because it's a dynamic line, so you want to relax those lines. Filler won't do anything like that.
Okay, sagging jowls.
Sagging jowls. A lot of people talk about that. We mentioned that at the beginning, and you talked about having filler in your jawline to help hold it back. What about sort of people who have things sucked out here, or threads, or that stuff?
You could have threads. I find threads a bit brutal. I'm a bit scared of threads. I haven't gone that way yet. People keep telling me I should. There's a very good surgeon who does a suspension hammock neck lift that sounds quite entertaining, but that is very, very expensive.
A suspension hammock neck lift. We want to know more. Okay, but when you've had it done, come and tell us.
I'm seeing him in a week or so,
but
he does it with a double-ended needle, and basically he stitches up inside the skin, up, reverse the needle, round, twist the needle down, round here, down, across, back, round, up here, round, down, across, so no scars, and nice tight neckline. But you could do art therapy, you could do laser,
art therapy. Let's talk
any
about
of those.
Art therapy I've had. It's a machine, and it just actually goes in and kind of.
It's focused ultrasound, and it hits right below the surface of the skin. Laser tightens on the surface. Radio frequency goes a little distance into the skin, but ultrasound hits up to 4.5 millimeters below the surface of the skin. They have a visualizing thing so they can see where this concentrated beam is hitting, and the idea is it's hitting down onto the sort of the muscular layer of the skin, the SMAS, which is what surgeons manipulate when they're doing surgery, and that it coagulates the tissue there, it sort of burns it, so it creates heat down there which tightens the existing collagen and makes so it's a one-off, it's a long slow thing, and somebody was asking about problems with art therapy, and there are so many people online complaining about art therapy doing nothing for them. I find it quite difficult to sort of recommend it. So I mean, I've had it 3 times myself over the last 6 years. You have it about every couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's worked great for me. I know people it hasn't worked well for. So
every skin is different. I think that is the thing, that what works for you might not work for your friend and vice versa.
It's really hard to say, but it's expensive, but it's a one-off and it can work very well. Or laser tightening. Sorry,
keep going.
Laser tightening or radio frequency, something like thermage. That is that can be very popular. I find thermage, particularly on the body, is quite painful. Décolletage, not so good. But any of those technologies will shrink the skin that little bit, so it can help put it back.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to just do some quick fire questions that Tixel we've talked about. Is it bad to do a skincare routine every day or it's good? It's very good.
Good.
What can I do about bags on the eyes? We've done that. What foods do you avoid? What foods to avoid to keep skin healthy? I would say more than anything.
Antioxidants.
Sugar.
Oh, avoid sugar.
Sugar. I mean, sugar is the number one. I mean, after sun damage, I think sugar is the worst thing for skin.
Yeah, because
are the final injections worth the money? I think you've felt they are.
They are if you have that money to spend. It's a lot of money, but it will make a big difference.
Yeah. Best at-home current devices. I think Alice loves the new skin. I like the Face Gym Pro. They're both good.
The Boost or the Tripolar. That's quite interesting. It's a radio frequency one. You move it, Tripolar stop. You move it round your face. If you have the dedication to use these things with any of these home use devices, you've got to know you will use it.
Yeah. Okay.
5 days
so
a week.
Can I use vitamin C twice a day? I think you can.
Yeah.
I love vitamin C. Is foundation okay to use on your skin? Yes, it's absolutely.
But not straight after microneedling. That was somebody else's question.
Okay.
Yeah, after microneedling.
You want to give your skin a breathe. I do my microneedling at night generally, so I think you don't want to be pouring something in it. If vitamin C doesn't agree with my skin, what else can I use? Depends on what your issue is. I think niacinamide, if your issue is pigmentation, for example, niacinamide can work really well, and if your skin is a little bit oily, I think niacinamide is a phenomenal serum. It's from the B families, and I feel that some people, if they say vitamin C doesn't agree with me, it's because their skin is quite sensitive.
Yeah,
so
you could try a more broad spectrum antioxidant.
Yes, like
Neostrata have a lovely one. That's a sort of very medical brand. Don't know if you know that one.
Is Sculptra more effective than PRP microneedling?
Sculptra is different because it's injections. It's like a filler, but it's less bulky than a filler, and it stimulates your skin to grow its own collagen from the inside.
Okay.
But you use it like a filler, so it's like a long-lasting, slow-growing filler.
Okay.
PRP is for glow. Can't remember what the other one was on that.
Drooping skin above the eye socket, droopy eye sockets. We're getting a lot on that.
Tightening with devices like laser or Tixel or radio frequency. Dr. Coolsculpting Mohan has a radio frequency eye treatment called Ping, which is easy to remember, and that works all around the eye, and it's just tightening, lifting.
Okay.
Gets great results.
How do you stay on top of expirations with all that product? I think that you've just, products generally last a year and a half, 2 years on anything in your bathroom, and I think the things that lurk in the back of your bathroom, I think sunscreens, I never go back to the following year. I throw them out because they're SPF. They're going to be on the holiday with you. Even if you don't finish the jar, you're going to one day leave them out in the sun, and that just drains their protective nature. So things like that, I'd never keep in the bathroom once I've used them on holiday. I think other things like toners go off the lease, hydrating sprays, kind of okay. But I just...
Vitamin C can often oxidise.
And if you keep lids off of things, it will go off quicker. So just smell things. Any thoughts on Casey? I mean, Casey is again a microcurrent.
Casey is microcurrent. It's sort of an old standard, but it constantly has new technology added into it. They've got LED now in it. If you go and do it, have it done well, it works.
And I think
keeps those muscles.
Keeps the muscles tightened. And I think if you don't like doing anything at home and you don't have a huge budget, I do think Casey, if you have the patience to be consistent and go once a month, is a really brilliant maintenance, and I've seen women in their 50s and 60s who've done Casey like for 20 years who have incredible skin, and that's all they've done.
And it adds to the circulation and the lymph drainage, and all of that makes the skin healthier and look that bit springier and
fantastic. What do you think of thread rejuvenation rather than full in PDO threads?
Do we mean thread lifts as versus the whisker threads?
Said, what do you think, thread rejuvenation rather than full on PDO threads? What are PDO threads?
Well, I think they mean the little short thin threads that are more like stimulating threads, and they are woven through the skin in a sort of lattice pattern.
Yes.
And you can have like 60 or 80 of them put around the face. And there's a very few doctors who do that well, but the ones who do it well say they get great results. But I haven't tried it, and I haven't really looked into it. As I say, what we tend to see a lot more of is the normal thread lifts with particularly the Silhouette Soft, where you get like one anchor point here, and you get 4 threads through, and then they
pull them up,
tie them off, or over here. And I'm just not quite sure about those. I know they have a very good track record.
I think they're interesting. It depends on the thread. I've done this forehead one, which is still 3 weeks in, but I've just done. I've done 1, 2, 3 here, and I've done a little film, but I'm going to wait and show you the whole film. I'm 50. I've tried Meso, Clear Lift, and Aft Laser. No Botox or fillers. What to try next? What to try next? Sorry, just giving you the view of my house.
Keen to do, I would say possibly Botox or fillers, but find a great doctor who fits with your aesthetic of what you want your face to look like, and then see what they would suggest, because they might say Profilo, but I know various doctors who would prefer to get people started on fillers to add the structure to their face before they would do Profilo on top of it.
Can I just say?
Yes.
We could go on for hours, ladies.
Look at the time.
We could go on for hours, but the problem is, at an hour it will cut off, and I don't want to lose this film. So I'm going to say, would we like Alice in the bathroom again? Yes! Yes!
Oh, Trinny,
because you're so informed, and you give so much knowledge, and I know also it comes from the heart, and it's not like many years ago there was a rather scary one on television who'd done all plastic surgery things, and you looked at her in horror. And what I kind of love is this place between what you can do in your bathroom and what you can do under a knife, which is the place where there's so much and it's so difficult to navigate the space. So with her book, which I'll show you for the 3rd time,
thank you.
That there's so much information in here, and I think we need Alice again. So let's build up a list.
An inspiration. Thank you so
and,
much.
Have a wonderful Sunday, ladies. And I'll catch up soon. Bye.
Bye now.
Yes, we love her.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Now, this is tape to the window. End.
That was really
Okay.